Hi there, my name's Sabrina Ben Salmi and you're here on the platform called Discussions of Exploration. And today I'm with a very special guest who I really admire and love and appreciate being a part of our journey. Franchesca Pinamang, I hope I pronounced your surname properly. And we are going to be discussing relationships. So Franchesca, please introduce yourself to the listeners, let them know about what you do. She is the founder of Healing Tables for men and for women. So as you can imagine, she's doing some amazing work in the world. Thank you.
Hello, hi guys, my name's Fran. Let's call it Fran, short and sweet. So the Healing Table, what the Healing Table is, it's a platform where we can discuss our past issues that are now presented in our current life situations. We've got to remember that sometimes where we end up in life is due to our past ideas, thoughts, failures, and actually some of the things we've achieved in our past. But then what we tend to do in life is we meet people and we don't clear up our mess. So we just add to the mess. So this is us just discussing, I guess, our feelings, our emotions, why we did what we did then and why the effects it's had now. So that's what the Healing Table is. We have a female one that's normally on a Saturday, and I've started the men's one, and the men's one's amazing. There's a myth that men don't talk. Men will talk when they're permitted. Men will talk when they are allowed to. Men will talk when they feel respected and safe in the area. So that's a bit about me. And yeah.
Love that. I absolutely love that, Fran. I wholly agree with what you're saying with regards to creating a safe space for men to talk. Because to be quite frankly, I think men can talk more than women. When I got married, I was like, what's this? Where do we get this myth from that men don't talk? My husband's like verbal diarrhea. He must have learned from his mother or something, because he would talk. But again, it's the safe space. When they feel judged, unsupported, and disconnected, they start to go inwards if they're not fully supported. So I really love that. So, sorry, Fran, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. It's because men have been told men are supposed to be strong. Strength doesn't come with crying. Who told? That's again, it's a myth. Because true strength comes with vulnerability. True strength comes with knowing what you don't like. True, honest strength comes with, you know, boy, I had a hard day at work today. Not work was all right. You know, men are supposed to be providers. They've got so much on their back. And sometimes nobody even asks them to do that, you know. Those snakeskin shoes that you've bought or your trainers that you bought because it's out. Do you know, nobody really cares. Do what you can manage. My son came home from a football match once and he went upstairs and he was crying. And I know that if his dad was there, he'd be like, hey boy, what are you about for? But I permitted him to cry because he was so passionate about losing. So, yeah.
Do you know, what you shared is such a valid point, and I really believe that a lot of our men get shut down in childhood. I'm so glad that you shared that, because I could definitely resonate as a mother. I remember walking into the room and my husband was talking to Paolo, and he was saying, like, boys don't cry, you're acting like a girl. And again, these are these things that they've learned, you know, it's handed down. Sometimes they don't realize what they're saying. But I feel that at that time, that's the time when that young boy either says emotions are my enemy and it makes me look weak, or it's okay too. And we had a chat about it. Thankfully, the dad did understand the point when I said, actually allow him to express himself. And then I actually said to him, like, not in front of my children, but I pulled him away and I said, but you cry. So it would be really good for you to let your children know that you also cry, because they've never seen you cry. And men tend to do that behind closed doors. And it's about time we can create an environment to come out. So I'm really glad that you've birthed the Healing Table. Absolutely wondrous. What was the inspiration around this Healing Table? Because I know you've got a wondrous story.
Inspiration. My daughter says I chat too much. That's the inspiration.
I love it. Easy with me, Fran. You did say you'll go easy on me.
My daughter said, Mum, you chat too much. And then basically, so I started studying counselling. And then everybody who knows, if you are a counsellor, you have counselling. Yes. Again, counselling is another thing within our community. It's frowned upon.
Yeah.
And then I learned I watched other people. So we used to do these, what do they call them? We used to do these practicals in lesson, right? And the practicals, our tutor always say, don't make it personal. Don't think about something. Just make up a story. We all would make up a story and we'll hold the story, but by some way that story will relate to what we're personally going through. And the healing table was birthed from experience. I'm not going to say wisdom because I am not perfect. I'm going to say experience and knowledge, not wisdom, because as I said to you, Monday I might be nice. Tuesday, if you upset me, then I have to think about Wednesday, innit? So
I love your personality. I absolutely love.
It's that's what it is. If we can all heal,
Mm.
like I say to people before, I used to hold a grudge. I know how to hold a grudge. Like I don't do star signs, but my friends are like, "Wow, you're a Capricorn." Yeah, I hold a grudge. Like I can hold a grudge and mold it into a cake and wait 20 years. Eh? Do you remember when? That's when the Ghanaian comes out. Do you remember when you did this to me? But I'm learning about forgiveness. I'm learning more about healing, and I'm learning more about. Sometimes I have to permit myself and acknowledge that Franchesca, put myself in that scenario and permitted that person to behave the way they did towards me. So therefore, just as it's the person's fault, so is it my fault? Because I should have kept my mouth quiet.
I love that because that brings in an essence of emotional intelligence, being honest, open and vulnerable. So not just being aware of your own emotions, but being aware of that of others and how we interconnect in that respect. What would you say about the essence of our relationship with ourselves and others? Like what are your viewpoints? I know we've had some interesting conversations around this.
It depends where you are at your life. It depends. Francesca at 20 is not Francesca at 42.
Yes.
What I needed emotionally, I tell a lie, at 20 I wasn't even aware of my emotions. So let me make that clear. I had no clue. If I met a guy and he looked alright, yo, you're alright, innit? It's not, at 20, it wasn't that deep. I don't think I had that mental capacity to understand that I'm going to meet a guy and plan my life with them. I just wanted somebody who looked good and, like big girls. Hey, you've ticked 2 boxes, let's go.
Yeah.
But now at 42, my relationship with myself is different. My friends always laugh at me when I say, "Oh, I need somebody who can support me, and I can't date somebody who, like, if something's broken at home and I have to call my brother or any of my male friends to come and fix it, I'm dumping you because if I'm still calling my brother to fix stuff and I have a man, nah." So my relationship with myself, or my relationship has changed within my mindset, because instead of me wanting to look after somebody and care for somebody, I actually want that in return now. And for me, that's a big thing because I never wanted that. I'm always all right. I'm okay. I can do it. I guess I'm tired of doing it.
Yeah.
I am tired of doing it on my own. But I'm not going to bring somebody into my life.
Yes.
To add on to the bags I've already got. So let's empty out both of our suitcases. And you bring your shirt, I'll bring my top. You bring your trousers, I'll bring my skirt. Yeah. And let's build something together.
Yes, I absolutely love that. And what I really like is what you described is that your needs and awareness in your 20s is totally different now. And what I find is that when I speak, and I know we were speaking about clients, is that sometimes we make lifetime plans with part-time experiences because we don't really know who we are. Yeah, we don't know who we are. We don't really know where we're going. And often there's situations whereby people come into our lives and it's somewhat like we actually have no attraction if we're fully actually honest with ourselves, but the fact that they love us or shown us something that we've never experienced before, but we've longed for our entire life, and then we start to settle and think, okay, well, at least they like me. If I don't take this opportunity, maybe it won't come again. Maybe we want to expand around there, please, Franchesca.
So again, I know, well, we've had a scenario where a man's been married 20 years, and we went to him for wisdom, because you've been married 20 years, you've got the experience. What do you love about your wife? I don't know what love is, friend. I've been taught to be a man. So when she got pregnant, we got married because I don't want to show her, I don't want to disgrace her. I buy her flowers on Friday. I take her out to dinner. I'm a father to my children. And I'm going to continue that because that's what my father taught me. I love my children. I love my wife. But the word love, as in a romantic relationship, I don't know.
Wow.
I was like, wow, okay. Because we it's not settling. People assume that you settle, but you don't settle. Settling is knowing that it's not going to work and you are going to contribute to it not working. That's settling. But when you've made up your mind that, you know what, I'm at this age and I want to be married, and Joe Blogs comes by and Joe Blogs goes, hey, sweetheart, what you say? What are you doing on a Friday? Do you want to get married? And Joe Blogs is okay for your eyes, but not for your heart. Understand that he'll only be good for your eyes, never for your heart. But it's like when couples meet, and this, I feel sorry for the next guy I meet, bless him. I only feel sorry for him.
I'm
Like
trying
my
my best not to
CV,
laugh. Stop it.
my CV is long. His CV is long. But it's those questions. It's like, what really makes you tick? If you tell me nothing, you're lying. You know what? Like my children know that if I'm having a bad day, yeah, give me an hour. Don't hug me. Don't speak to me. Let me process what's going on. But then you've got other females who might need a hug or babes, it's okay. I don't need that because I'm not ready for that. Give me an hour. So if I meet a partner who's very huggy and I've come in and I'm having a bad day and he's hugging, no, you are, I'm feeling overwhelmed, you know, and that's not his fault. That's not his fault and that's not my fault. But when you meet the partner, conversations had to be had, you know, conversations are not, oh, you hold my hand, I hold your hand, Instagram, snap, selfie. Let's go past social media, because let's be honest, people in this lockdown are at home together. Yeah, you are rediscovering your marriage, your relationship in this scenario. You know, people are rediscovering who they're married to.
Very true. Very true. And who they are in the marriage, you know, redefining that. You know, you're so on point because so we're a large family of 7. My mum's here with us now, and I can definitely attest to that. It's like, okay, so dad would usually go off to work, I'm with the kids, I'm doing my thing, you got your little routine, and then dad was like, okay, we're going left. And I was like, oh, okay, dad said go left. Day 3, it's like, oh, dad said go left again. And I was like, well, we normally go right. So I've had to readjust, going, actually, I'm so used to dad being at work and we work in such a way, and then mum being there. So I'm having to learn how I show up. And I really love what you're actually talking about with regards to love and being in love, because not everyone understands that very clear distinction. So you can still love someone, but not be in love with someone. And that part, because you love them, you realize that actually this isn't going to work. And at the same time, that could be a realization that because I love you, I might not be in love with you, that it can work. But it's real. I think that now is a great opportunity to decipher, like, where are you now? Just put the feelers in, you know, wiggle your toes, be fully present, and just be in this experience to the extent of saying, who am I?
Yeah, who am I? You see, it's like personal scenario. I felt I was in love with someone. The person loved me but was not in love with me. So I had to be okay with that and love them enough to let them go.
Oh, wow, that's a perfect example.
Hold on. It didn't happen overnight, you know. It took 5 years.
Stop it! You promised. Stop it!
It took 5 years. It took 5 years. So the first year I was in pain. I felt sick. I was upset. Why didn't he love me? What was it? No, he loved me because we had that understanding.
Mm,
I was just not supposed to be with him. He wasn't in love with
mm,
me. And the thing about somebody not being in love with you when you love them is you feel rejected, you
yes.
feel unworthy, you feel hurt. However, after a few years, it's not that deep.
Mm,
It's not that deep because you've got to understand that person is just not yours.
absolutely. That is an excellent point. You know, I wonder, listener, listening to myself and Fran having this conversation, if you can actually just internalize what we're discussing, really kind of home in and put yourself in in the shoes of the person that we're discussing, the scenario that we're discussing, is that what you've created, does it feel like yours? What you've created, does it feel like you're on the right path? Because the truth is, often we go, yeah, well, it looks good, or like what you're saying, like the social media side, and my family
Mm.
likes this, and the kids quite like this. But have you managed to insert yourself into your life? Because
Yeah.
you really made me think about a few things back in 2011. I've literally just released this discussion that I wasn't in my life. I was living life for everyone. I had to do stuff for my mom. I was doing stuff as a wife, and
Mm.
I was doing stuff for the kids. And that was what inspired me to write a book, because I started to think about, I'm not actually in my life. And
Mm.
sometimes we're inviting people to, I don't know, transaction with us with products and services, but the essence is you're not there. How can they show up? Because you're not even there in the first place.
Yeah.
So have you created a life that feels like it's yours, or are you living someone else's life? And it can be a career that you've embarked on. It can be, it doesn't matter what it is for you, but I want you to really connect with where Fran has so kindly taken you to say, is this yours? Is it better to lovingly let it go so then you can start to fully be?
It's it's a topic where it all comes back to who you are with yourself and your self-love. I remember one of my exes, me and him got into an argument we got into an argument, we got into a discussion
Mm-hmm.
because I said to him, oh, you did this when we were together. And he said, listen, you were the hardest person to love at that time. And in my head, I was like, what are you talking? Yeah, you're right. You're right. I was, because I wasn't ready for love. He was ready, but he couldn't love me past my anger. And he said to me, you were so angry. He said, why are you so angry? I said, do you know, I can't tell you why. And his problem he always had was that his mum would say, Fran is so lovely. And he's like, if only you guys knew. But again, he couldn't love me past my anger at that moment in time,
Mm,
you know. And I've worked on that. And I've worked on this. And as long as I continue working on myself, but being able to highlight my faults, because nobody's perfect. So if you go into a relationship pretending you're perfect, mate, you've lost out in it.
so true. Do you know, this is why I love personal development. And I meet varied people. Some people say it's for me, some people say it's not for me. And I think it says what it does on the tin. It's personal development. And I love what you're saying, is that
Yeah.
if we don't have moments of self-reflection, if we don't have moments of vulnerability, and to just say, well, I think I need to address this for me, especially if it keeps showing up in every relationship. Because what I sometimes see is that some relationships, they truly are a reflection of things that are not healed. They're wounds that are still open,
Yeah.
that would trigger us. And the reason why I'm saying some, because you do have some narcissistic people out there, but still, it's still a
Yeah.
reflection of, actually, have I inserted healthy boundaries into my life? Because those were the things that I had to work in. So I had lack of self-worth, low self-esteem, confidence issues. So in terms of boundaries, there was none. In terms of, Sabrina, would you like a drink? What would you like to eat? I'll eat anything, I'll drink anything, because my kind of subconscious programming was, I wanted to avoid conflict. I didn't want to be a burden to anyone. I had fear of
Mm.
abandonment. And those were playing out in different ways. And I really urge you to start thinking about what Fran's bringing to the table, is that how do your own wounds from your own past start showing up in your relationships?
Abandonment, rejection, low self-esteem, over self-esteem, high sexuality. All these things come from a place of past. Nobody's born with abandonment issues, right? And this is what I say to people. My brother always teases me and says to me, you're a creature of habit. He said that if I ever go missing, They know that Fran was here last, she's here last. And I became a creature of habit because I like things the way I like them. No, it's because I don't like change. Don't get it to, I don't like change.
Mm.
And my brother highlighted that to me. And I was like, nah, you're right. And you know, but that's as you said, personal development. My daughter did something one day, and then I said something back, and then I said, "Do you know what? My bad. I'm sorry."
Beautiful.
Yeah. And we were talking about. She's like, "You apologize when you make a mistake." I said, "Shall I tell you why?"
That's amazing.
Because I have to own up. Listen, this parenting thing, this love thing, we're all learning. So if I don't apologize to you when I'm wrong, I know that my grandchildren are going to get it. So let me show you how I'm not saying copy what I'm doing, but at least I know that if I say to my grandchild, what did your mum say? Oh, she said sorry. Cool.
Beautiful. I love that. It's so beautiful what you just said, because it's something that we practice in this home. Like my youngest is 6, and if I do something wrong, I will apologize. Now, when I was growing up, oh God, I knew that they would say to you, even if I'm wrong, who are you to tell me that I'm wrong? And I remember I remembered that, and I always remembered saying that when I become a parent, I want to do exactly what you're saying with your daughters, that I want them to know that actually there's a strength in recognizing where I've gone wrong. And it doesn't matter what age you are, I will come and say sorry, because I'm teaching you that it's okay to be wrong as well.
But as you rightfully said, you said that when you were young. I didn't say that when I was young. I only started saying that when I started studying and learning about myself. I said that when she was 4 or 5. Do you think I care? Mum, but you're wrong. What do you mean? When I went to primary school, you weren't born. Come on, do what you need to do.
Yeah.
You know? So they tease me in the house. They go, oh, I wonder what mum we're having today. Are we having the 1999 mum?
I love that.
Or the 2015.
They're not sure which one's going to show up. Oh, it's beautiful. Yeah. It really is beautiful.
But that's what it's like, even in relationships. It's like I've had so many different scenarios. I remember asking a couple, obviously we're not allowed to tell couples to separate, because that's not what
that's their decision, exactly.
That's not our goal.
Yeah.
But in my head, I was like, bro, you lot need to stop, because
stop it.
You're going cray this way and you're going cray that way. And then it was funny because we were talking and we were going through stuff. And this is how the argument sounded like to me. When you freeze water, it becomes ice. Okay. This is what the husband was saying. When you freeze water, it becomes ice. And the wife was saying, when you unfreeze water, it becomes water. So they're saying the same thing, but because the person who's delivering it has already annoyed them, they can't hear. So I'm just like, yeah, you two, what color's your car? My car is a dark shade of blue. What color's your car? It's a navy blue. Okay, so your car's blue. No, it's you lot have passed the understanding because you don't want to understand.
Not hearing each other anymore.
No.
Yeah.
And it was very simple. Your child went to university and now you're living together, because before it was all about the child. Now your child's gone, it's just you two in the house.
A bit like the scenario we're going through, you know, when we were out and about, it's different. Now the dynamics that you're actually there together, you're seeing each other in a different light all day long, having to interconnect and see how that goes. Do you know what comes to mind for me when you share that is the premise of love languages, because I feel that communication is the art of any relationship, the way we communicate with ourselves or others. But love language comes to mind, the 5 love languages. So that I love what you talked about. You needed to have space for an hour because you just need to get to a certain place before you can interact with people. And that happens to be your way, that if you hugged me before then, it wouldn't feel like love, but thereafter it would. And one of the things that I learned is that as human beings, we tend to give love in the way we like to receive it, because we're not having those communication. Like, I like it here, and this to me doesn't feel like love, and that person tells you what they like. So with the love language, there's 5 different areas, and I highly recommend you tap into it, listener. And it talks about, so words of affirmation, physical touch, quality time, acts of service, and gifts. Now, in our house, we all did the test, and for some reason, I don't know why, the highest on the male energy side is gifts, quality time, and physical touch. Physical touch was second. That's for all the boys. And then the girls were more words of affirmation, quality time. Now, what was interesting is that I used to go around giving love to everyone in the same way that I like to receive it, which was affirmation, physical touch, quality time. And the minute we establish clarity on how you like to receive, how I like to receive, the dynamic shifted around in my house. The smiles were elated. You just leave little gifts around the house, because receiving gifts can come in any magnitude. I was going out and buying gifts, and I spoke to a man, and a man said to me, no, actually, it's just a gift. It's the surprise of that you thought of me, and I know that you're thinking of me because you presented me with something. It could be a favorite chocolate, a snack, anything. And I love what you're saying so much. It's that for that couple, in essence, if they could get the love language going on, so they're not feeling heard, listened to, but if they had their love language, they would understand how to interconnect. It's so amazing as human beings.
Let me throw you a bone.
Sorry.
Let me throw you a bone. So you're talking about the 5 love languages. Now, a man's in a relationship, he's married, and his love language is affirmations. That's all he needs. Yeah. However, he's met somebody who has all 4 love languages but affirmations. And he hasn't explained to his partner that's his requirements.
Exactly.
So he goes to the sweet shop now, and he meets Jane on the counter. And Jane on the counter goes, do you know, I really like what you're doing. You're working really hard. You are amazing. You are such an amazing man. You know, you're charitable. You know, you're strong. And Jane is there every morning while he goes to buy his paper. The wife comes, he comes home to the wife, and the wife hugs him, gives him everything else he needs. But his love language is affirmations, his visions. So then the wife says to him, oh, I need a pint of milk. Oh, I'll go. Jane's locking up. Jane's single. Jane's carrying big bags. Oh, let me help you to the car. Oh, no, it's all right. I've got this. I do it all the time. He's now moving his love language as service to help somebody. Conversations have to be had.
Yes, I love that. What I would say, I think that's a lovely taster of the magic that Franchesca actually brings to the table. How can our listeners learn more about what you're doing? Are you on social media? You know, is there a website? What can you share with them so they can get some more Francesca's table talk and healing tables? Because I think your healing table that you provide for men and for the women, this is separate, listeners. So there's one for the men.
Well, we've got a couples one coming up.
Oh, that's going to be spicy. So there is the male, the female, and the couples. Oh, I love this. So how can they get in touch?
So Facebook, it's just Akua Words, AKUA Words, all one word, Akua Words. Look me up, Franchesca Pinamang, Facebook, Instagram. Yeah, that's why I'm not too hard to find.
Fantastic. Franchesca, is there anything that you would like, a departing message that you would like to leave with the listeners?
Yes. Thank you for thank you for spending time with us. Obviously, it's uncertain times we're in now. Stay focused. Don't let fear with no source take over. And just be blessed and meet you on the other side.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. I'm not going to say anything after that. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for being my guest, Fran. I really admire you in so many ways. And like you said, we'll see them on the other side. Thank you so much for your time.